And today we're taking a look at how to change your car's wheel hub. This is so simple and easy, anyone could do. Everything used on the video, we're going to leave a link on the description. The first thing that we want to do is press the emergency brake. If it's a foot pedal, press it down. If it's a hand lever, pick it up. Now we want to go ahead and place the wheel shocks, because the last thing we want in a clear sunny day is to die. Let's go ahead and place our jack under the vehicle, but we're still not going to raise it. If you have a wheel cover, we go ahead and remove that now. We're going to take our nut remover bar and break each nut. And you want to do this with the car on the floor because it will be a lot easier, unless you have an impact drill. Now that the nuts are loose, we can go ahead and start jacking up the car. Once up, we can adjust the jack stand and place it under the vehicle. If you need to raise the vehicle a little bit more, go ahead. We can lower the vehicle slowly to our jack stand. Let's go ahead and finish removing the nuts. Go ahead and remove the wheel. And for an extra precaution, we like to place the wheel under the vehicle. In case for any reason the vehicle drops, it has something else to avoid it from hitting the floor. Now we have access to the wheel hub pin and cap. In your wheel hub, it may be different. It may not have a pin and just a bolt. Now we have access to our brake caliper. For the purpose of the video, we're going to remove the brake caliper and the brake bracket. If your brake caliper and brake bracket are all connected, just by removing the brake bracket would be enough. If not, we're going to show you how to remove the brake caliper and the brake bracket. As you can see, we're missing a screw for the wheel, but we're mainly changing it because we hear noise when the vehicle is in motion. And remember, this is something that you want to do in pairs. Today, we're changing the front passenger and driver side. The first thing that we want to do is remove the caliper. And like that, we will have access to our brake pads. There are two screws that hold the caliper in place, one in the bottom and one on the top. In our case, it's gonna be a size 12. In your case, it may be different. If you have a set, you can go ahead and try starting at 12 and either going up a number or down a number. And like that, keep going until you find yours. The first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and break the nut. Usually lefty loosey, righty tighty. And you do that thinking, looking at the bolt, which is the left and which is the right. So from the angle that we're looking at the bolt, it's gonna be to the right. But if you stand right behind the bolt, looking at it straight, it's gonna be the left. Once you break the initial pressure, you can basically take it off with your hands. If you notice it's too tight, you can place some W40 and wait a couple of minutes or hours and then try it. Let's go ahead and do the same for the bottom one as well. Now we can go ahead and remove the caliper. You may need to wiggle them out, but they should come out with ease. We can take a piece of rope or zip ties and tie it to a part of a vehicle that it won't be in your way or fall down. And remember, when removing the caliper, remember that it's connected to the brake fluid line. You don't want to pull it too hard or too far away from the vehicle. Now we remove the brake pads to the side. You may need to wiggle them out, but they should come out with ease. In our case, we still have brakes left, but because we're changing the wheel hub, we decided to change them anyways. If you notice your brakes are wasted, we also have a video for that. We're going to leave a link on the description. As you can see, one of the clips came off with the brake pad. The only thing we have to do is just look at the other one and see how they're placed and put them back. If you notice your brake hardware are bad, this would be the time to also change it. Now we're going to remove the brake bracket, and there are two screws that hold it in place, one at the bottom and one at the top. These screws may be tighter, so you may have to use a breaker bar or W40. In our case, we used the breaker bar and it was easy. After broken, you can do it by hand or use a small ratchet. If you have a wheel hub pin, now we could go ahead and take it out. Using some pliers, we could bend it straight back again, and then you could pull it out, or if you need to tap it to take it out, you could as well. We can remove the cap, and we're also going to find a washer underneath. We want to save that and put it to the side. Now we get our breaker bar, and in this case is a size 32. We're going to go ahead and remove the nut that holds the wheel hub in place. If you don't have a long enough breaker bar, you might need to use a metal pipe to extend yours. In our case, we use our Harbor Freight Jack's handle as a pipe. And here you're gonna need a little bit of strength. So call that inner Avenger and lefty loosey. Once broken, you can do it by hand or use a ratchet. In our case, we have a sensor in the back that would make removing the 4 screws that hold the wheel hub in place harder, so we're going to go ahead and remove that. Now we have access to all 4 screws. As you can see in the new wheel hub, this would give you an idea where to locate the screws. Another pro tip, by pushing the axle back, this would give you more space to put your ratchet or wrench in the back to remove the screws. Using the same principle, lefty loosey, righty tighty, we're going to go ahead and break each screw, starting from the bottom left. Then the rest you can do it by hand or using a small wrench, but the space there is very limited, so going with your hands might be easier. Now we do the top left using the same technique. Now the bottom right. and lastly, the top right one. And in our case, this one is the most uncomfortable one. So pushing the axle back did help us a lot. Now, depending on how old your wheel hub has been there, you might have to jiggle it around to get it out. Don't be scared to pull on it. If you have dirt and rust like ours, this would be the time to clean it. We're using a metal brush and a rag. Let's go ahead and place our new wheel hub, align it with the screw holes, and get one of the screws to hold it in place. We could finger tighten it for now, and we can do the same for the other three. Once we have it finger tight, then we could come back and tighten them with a ratchet or a wrench. We place our sensor back. Now, this is the time where we do everything backwards. We place our rotors. We place our axle nut and tighten like there's no tomorrow, or to your vehicle's specifications. We place the washer, then our cover, and lastly, the pin. We place our brake bracket back. We place our brakes. And we basically do this the same way we took them out. We slide them back in from the side. Now we can remove the rope or the zip tie from the brake caliper. We can go ahead and place it back. We can take our 2 bolts back and place them by hand. Once we can't tighten them by hand, we go ahead and use the ratchet. And basically you want to tighten them as most as you can with your hands. To give you an idea, it's like tightening your tire nuts back on your wheel. You want them tight, but you don't want to over tighten them. You can go ahead and place the wheel back. Now you can pat yourself on the back for a job well done. And now that you've done one side, now you can repeat the same process to the other side. And once you turn on your car and get behind the wheel, you should be able to pump your brakes a couple of times on parking, and that should get you back to normal. If you notice air still on your brakes, then you might need to bleed your brake lines. And we also have a video for that. We're going to leave a link on the description. Don't forget, if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media. Thank you for watching, and here's a link to our latest video.